You need to be this this fungus that just sits there jamming League of Legends and cracking jokes on the stream all day. And if you're
Yeah.
anything short of that, then your failure's your fault. It's crazy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Salt Mine. This is Season 6, Episode 8, if I'm keeping track correctly. I'm Gordo, this is Quax and TDS, and we've got ourselves a little bit of time due to rescheduling around ACL on this Tuesday, the 23rd, to talk about what's going on around the scene a little bit, talk about LTA promotion, talk about this last couple weeks of ACL playoffs, and I guess we talk about the promotion tournament as well, very briefly, although that's been discussed quite a bit across a variety of different formats. But first things first, we do have the NACL or the LTA promotion tournament coming up before too long, and already a little bit of pre-tournament drama starting to surface as there was word circling for a while that Conviction would not be participating in the LTA promotion tournament, specifically around issues with Stunt's ability to
Yeah.
compete.
He had to go to a wedding, I think it was,
It
or
was his
something like
brother's
that.
Yeah, he
wedding,
mentioned wedding. Yeah.
which conflicts with the newly changed LTA promotion tournament schedule. But also, 7 hours ago at the time of recording, Conviction Esports tweeted, "We play." So
Yeah. I was hearing rumors that that Blue might have played, or that they would have probably brought up the next best option. But I mean, if Conviction are playing, then I think that means that is going to be the second team. Honestly, slightly bummed about that. I mean, I feel like this could have been like a huge boost for Blue even after getting eliminated. Like imagine that. You get eliminated from the NACL, right? And you aren't there. You barely miss out on the LTA promotion tournament. You've got a booth at the LTA finals, and now you're participating in the promotion tournament because Conviction dropped out. You are going to be present at the biggest event in the West at the current moment, and you are going to be kind of like the talk of the town because you were the third place team, and now you're going in. So it's just a good amount of publicity for Blue Otter. It's what I'm going to say about them, at least for the time being, because we're probably going to be littering this conversation with Conviction. I just have to say, Blue get like a good amount of exposure for this, which is awesome. Like combining this drama with the fact that they'll have a booth at the event at the LTA finals, and they're eating good. Bully is stealing everyone's lunch money.
yeah, he might be. I mean, hopefully Conviction can similarly like seize on this opportunity, right? That we're talking about here. As I realize now, my audio's been rendered very quiet. That should make me a little bit more audible. Hopefully, the rest of this recording or the beginning of this recording hasn't been completely impossible to hear. If it has, whatever, I'll re-record it or something. We'll figure it out. But at least I notice now and not 40 minutes from now.
Better now than later.
Better now than later.
better now.
That said, I'm very curious like what Conviction's still going to be able to do with the opportunity, right? They're the ones who actually end up in the competition. I think there's a lot more discussion to be had around like the community reaction to this than there is about the actual controversy itself. Although maybe that's just because I feel like we've talked about some of the subjects surrounding this so many times on this show, right? Like this is...
I can't help but feel like compared to some of the other shit we've had to put up with this year in terms of like drama, like if we were to tier list the drama of 2025, this is like D tier. Like this is nothing. I feel like Conviction maybe don't play, but now that's been rectified and they're back. So I feel like if anything, this just gets people wanting to watch Conviction more. in my opinion.
I mean,
Like,
I think you're correct
hopefully-
that it doesn't matter. I think it's noteworthy in that it kind of broke containment, right? I think a lot of NACL drama was very contained within NACL circles. This broke
Well,
broke
this is the
out.
first one that actually impacted, because this is the first one that actually has an impact out of NACL, right?
Yeah,
Because it
yeah.
is
Yeah,
LT,
right.
it's directly related to LTA. That's where I agree on the sense that it's very mild drama, but it's not mild. And I'm not sure if am I explaining it well enough, but like the way that it's described feels like it's very little, but the reality of it's actually way more than it really should have been. Because the problem here for me with the drama is that Riot and the organizer, because they both go hand in hand in the way that they have handled all the NECL, right?
Yeah.
Allowed for a situation where one team was present with a possibility of not playing the promotion tournament. And I think that's the issue realistically. It's like obviously the way that it's described where Conviction are not going to play because like it conflicts with the scheduling and how can they do that, or things that were said that didn't make a lot of sense in the context of the situation. I think it bodes really badly that the focus is more so on Conviction not playing than on the fact that the actual people in charge of how to handle everything were willing to just let everything like flow freely. Like just let's see how it goes, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, we'll see how we can just handle it later. And the problem with that is that we get these sort of situations, and that's really my biggest problem. It's that how are we supposed to keep on going like this where the people in charge of it are just so willing to do whatever the heck happen, or like let everything like just happen with the virtue of things happening and not really have any sort of control? Because like a lot of people were mentioning this, scheduling is something defined at the start of the year. We're in September. How the fuck is it that September is where everything gets decided and not in January? And that's really my biggest issue with this. And my biggest issue in general with how people is affronting this is that Conviction should be out of the picture. Like, yes, they are the ones that are playing, but it's Riot's fault that this was even a situation to begin with.
Yeah,
Or
I
the
agree.
organizer's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always kind of on the like I usually look to Riot at a lot of these things, and there really is no, I think, angle where you can blame Conviction for this, right? They didn't really know when the promotion tournament was going to be, and then right before it happens, right? It's like, oh, this is when it's going to be. And even Luminosity, I think Deos went on the Salty Runback Discord or something like that. It's somewhere. I saw this somewhere. I can't
Yeah, I
remember.
think it was
But
Salty
he was
Runback.
like, yeah, but he was like, yeah, our players had a ton of things going on that week, so we all had to like shift our schedule around. And I mean, these are like legitimate pro players, right? Like Luminosity have been touted as basically the LTA team in the NACL throughout the entire
These
year.
guys are
So
the
they take
opposite
it
of
way more
Conviction.
seriously.
These guys are players who are
Right.
still actively trying to make Pro League of Legends.
Right,
their
exactly.
career.
Like,
yeah.
to be honest, also, I'm pretty sure that this situation probably doesn't happen with Blue Otter either. Because Blue Otter is the NACL team that has aspirations to go to the LTA, but in a different manner to Luminosity, where they are the rookies, right? They are the younger team that wants to be able to get there.
Yeah.
Conviction is not that. Is neither of those things. So that's why with Conviction is more apparent, right? With other teams, probably the situation doesn't happen in the same way, I would say.
Yeah.
And that's my big question for you guys, because I've been kind of sitting on this question for like a week. I've been waiting to ask it since we recorded.
Go ahead.
So like a week and a half ago, for those of you who are kind of in the tier 2, tier 3 bubble, Dakar Tim, who if you don't know, is the former CLOL basically tournament organizer, one of the smartest individuals in the space that I know, and one of the most honest. And he put out a tweet about why the scene in North America, like more granular, not like the West, why North America is failing. And one of the bulletin points that he put down was that players who could go pro are opting not to because they see from the outside the trajectory of the ecosystem going down, and they opt to be content creators or stream and try to get as much money as humanly possible before the inevitable, doomsday of North American League of Legends. And so I guess my question to you guys kind of is like, Conviction are a team of streamers, right? A team full of players who have more options than say 99.9% of players in their situation. Like they can opt to just stream and live fat and happy for the rest of their lives. Let's say on the off chance, because I would say looking at all of the teams here for the LTA promotion tournament, Conviction are probably either the least likely or the second least likely to end up promoting into the LTA. But let's just say for a moment they do. My question to you is, do any of these players actually give a shit to go into tier 1? You would be jeopardizing your brand. You would be having less time to stream. You'd probably be making less money for double the amount of work. If this team actually were to promote, I feel like Conviction would just completely blow up the roster. Like the only player I can imagine being like, yeah, I'll play in pro is like Viper. Like I can't imagine Blade giving up his current career as a streamer, one of the top streamers in North America, to play pro and, you know, maybe do something. It might grow his brand, but I feel like it is more likely to tank his brand. And I feel like that logic probably applies to everyone else. So
I think
that's kind of an interesting dilemma.
Yeah,
like
I
Conviction,
think the
will
only
they even bother?
I think the only one, and listen, I'm not a big fan of any of these guys. I don't follow their individual streams, but just based on vibes from very limited interviews and interactions I've seen with them about their attempts at pro or lack thereof, I think the only one that I think really wouldn't want to do it is Stunt.
Yeah, I think
I think
so
Stunt
as
is
well.
out. He's done.
Yeah,
He also had his
Blade,
he already has his pro
like
had
I
his
think
pro
Blade,
stint as well. So
I think Blade is into the competitive sphere. Like he seems to kind of be like, you know what, like he seems to really be enjoying his time here.
yeah,
and
to actually like try
I
it
think they
after
would
that
go
in
and they
a
would
first team, I
operate
think
it.
I agree.
Like I think they would
Mhm.
operate it as like a streamer team. Like they would make more content and stream a lot of scrims and stuff. But yeah, like I think Blade is like into the competitive aspect. I think Perry and Evolved both have like a little bit of a, you know, what could have been probably nagging at them somewhere from their very successful tier 2 careers, that they both gave up, not because they stopped liking League of Legends, but because they were frustrated at the absence of opportunity.
I suppose.
I think,
disagree with you a little bit on
I could see doing
Perry.
it.
Yeah,
I
I can
disagree with
actually.
you
I
on
think
Perry.
I'm actually more on 3-on-5 there. Like to
Yeah.
me, to me, I see more here for both. Like I get behind TF Blade because I think that the fact that he stayed after the first roster blew up, the near airport roster blew up. I think that really made me think that at the very least it looks like TF Blade is willing to try it out and see where it goes. To how far can he get to a certain
him
degree? And I think
staying
that's
after near
I
airport,
think that's a good showing from him. And then Evolved, I also agree particularly because I think that he has gotten to a point, or I'm not sure how he thinks. Obviously, I'm not like really big on following him or anything, but I do think that he does want to like prove to a certain degree that he actually is a player that was capable of playing tier 1. I feel like he does have the ego that to try and prove people that because there's a lot of memes around him. Like we need to remember the LS like comment about like the best prospect in North America not playing or something like that. And I do think he has the ego to try and like prove that he actually was good enough to be able to get there, and it was things outside of his control that put him there. Not obviously the comments act like other things. But then I'm kind of more willing to go on Viper than on Perry because I think that Perry is just starting out with his brand, and I think that he would have a bigger problem than recouping it on compared to someone like TF Blade or Evolved. I think their brand is more established.
Like the thing with Perry as the jungler in the room, there's like 3 really big, I would say, jungle coaches at the current moment, right? Like that players will watch in order to improve at the role, right? It's Perry, it's Cenarius, and it's Kyrie, right? 2 of those are EU. Perry, I would say, is really the only one that NA players genuinely follow.
So I'm kind of curious, how established do you think he is right now?
He's
I feel
very
like that's
established, in my opinion.
That's I think
I
like
feel
my
like
biggest thing, because like compared to TF Blade and Evolved, right? That I think are more like
entertainers.
Well, and they're
no
older
names.
too. Like they've been around.
No, but
longer.
like that's the thing. Like there are names that people already like know by default, right? Like it's kind of the thing with Trick2E and or like this content. Like it's like I don't even watch them, but like it's content creators that you already know by name, right? So and that's the kind of thing that I'm meaning.
Trick,
like if
Yasuo.
it's if Perry goes away from it for a little bit. Let's not even say like he goes away completely, but let's say he doesn't put content out for like 6 months. Does that impact his brand more than the other players? I think it may be the case.
See, I don't think it's gonna be like a dead stop on content,
Yeah.
but I do think it is gonna be at a slower pace, and I do think that you are risking your brand by going pro. Like at the end of the day, I think that logic applies to basically everybody not named Viper, because Viper to me is more of a pro player than a streamer. Obviously, he does go live on Twitch, right? But I know him more as a pro player. Everybody else, I know them more as a streamer at this point. Like Perry, I know more for his jungle coaching, and his like actual VOD reviewing and just ability to be like a pillar of the jungle community, quote unquote, than like his time being on like Dig Academy or his time being on Fear. Like I don't really know him for that as much as I do his streaming. Same goes for Evolved, right? Obviously, this was TSM Evolved way back in the day, but I feel like people know him way more as a streamer. Blade, they know him way more to be a streamer. He's going to be a streamer no matter what. Even if he does play, people are going to know TF Blade as a streamer. He's just too well established at this point. And then Stunt is like kind of 50-50. Like I have my girlfriend watches Stunt to improve at support because she's a support player. And like he's kind of the Perry of support. I've heard a lot of people say that his like VODs and his stream are very educational. So it's kind of like a 50-50 because obviously he was also a pro player. So
down on Stunt as well, by the way, but there's always the argument that he may actually want to try and prove people wrong because he was the only one that actually played pro play here. So
but he is also he's also kind of centered in the debate because he's the one that
almost kind of play.
At the very least is unwilling to like travel coast to coast to boot camp for this thing.
And I feel
if
like
not unable to play entirely. That's a little murky.
Yeah. I feel like,
but let's say, for example, like if they do qualify, for example, I think he'd be willing to, like, if it's, let's say that it's a year period, right? Like he has to like dedicate a year of his life, but he knows where. He probably would be willing, or actually, I'm not even sure. Maybe he does, but I think if things are more set out, I think he'd be more willing to do it. It's just that because everything was just so wacky, it's difficult to really say what he would have done.
Right. But I think that the uncertainty that these players would be playing in the LTA is just a good benchmark for where we're at currently in the interest of playing. Like you've got players who have options, and there is a very legitimate chance that on the off chance they promote, they just say, fuck it. Like I don't want to compromise my brand for at least a year just so I can play pro play, just so I can travel to LA, and just so that I can work potentially twice as hard for not as much pay. So
actually,
it's genuinely like a dilemma that I think was worth discussing, and I think it's way more certain what like Luminosity would do, right? Like all of those players want to play. It's way more certain what the Blue Water players would want to do. Like all of them would want to play. In the case of Conviction, it's extremely murky. Yeah. So.
I'm kind of curious, actually, this may be a little bit off topic. I just want to put it out quickly because now I'm kind of thinking about if Conviction actually like qualified, not saying that it would happen, but like if it actually happened and they did, is there any possibility for them to sell their spot, or do they have to play out the year?
I don't think 100%? They can sell their spot, but I don't think there's any roster continuity requirements.
No, there's not. Like Disguised,
you can probably sell Conviction.
Does it have to be Conviction the team, or does it have to be just like if you let's say for example you win the spot, right? And you want to like allow for someone to sponsor it with their name without it, so
I bet you could
just
do
do
that.
Like let's say one random team, Mr. Beast Conviction. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I bet you
could do that.
I bet you could do that.
Because
if the rules are incredibly poorly written, the rule like the section about promotion tournament in the LTA rulebook is like a page long. So
because I'm also thinking if Conviction qualifies, right, and the roster blows up, who could they actually get? Because do they have any money to actually get people?
They'll have the Riot stipend. They'll get the money from being an LTA. Okay. And I guess they'll have to operate off of that. But anyway, I think you're kind of we're circling around. I think part of what has made this kind of discourse weird is that I think there's a couple of different, as more information came out, more like the topic of the debate shifted, but everybody is kind of like just concluding based off their priors anyway. So it got very confusing very fast. I think we started with a little bit of a debate like last night, the night before, as this news started to come out around, because Stunt's this news came out from a very short clip of Stunt's stream, where I think he doesn't really phrase it that well. Granted, I don't think he realized that this was going to blow up the way it did. So, he was talking to his audience. It's not like he's got to be a politician, carefully watching everything he says. But the way he originally phrased it seemed to imply that, like, the fact that they weren't all willing to travel and that different players were like going to take it different amounts of seriously was causing other players to like boycott and be unwilling to play at all. And that was messy. So like people had opinions on that. Like then there was a whole bunch of discourse around like to what degree are players competing in the NACL obligated to be pursuing professional play. And that was some discourse. And then as more information came out and as it became more solidly clear that this is about conflicts with the wedding, a separate discourse or an evolved discourse had to be had around to what degree must players be willing to make personal sacrifices in order to attempt to pursue going pro.
And honestly,
and alongside that, what obligation does Riot have to give you moderate scheduling notice for that same thing?
I mean, every obligation.
I will
right?
jump on that 100% obligation. Like,
I think that's the
that should
easiest
be a
of the
debate.
three debates to
If
have.
you're running
Yeah,
the
like, I
tournament,
don't
you have
think
to
that
tell
should be
the
a
players
debate.
when the fucking tournament is. Like, that is just basic.
Yeah.
It's just basic logic. Like, that
That's
doesn't
the
make any
easiest of the debates, and
imagine-
we've already
Imagine
had
that I
it.
don't
but-
get how
imagine
people
saying,
are
imagine saying
arguing.
the opposite of that with a straight face and expecting not to get immediately jumped on IRL,
Yeah.
in-game, metaphorically, spiritually, and online. Like, it is crazy to me that it is coming from people who also are not in the actual bubble, right? Like we just talked about how this is broken containment, this drama, right? With Stunt and with Conviction. And I mean, it's broken my brain with some of the takes, honestly. Like, yes, it's really shitty if Conviction can't play, but it's not shitty to anyone more than it is to the Conviction players themselves. Like, they came in here, they've signed up for this, right? Like, they played, they worked week in and week out to actually get this far. And now you're telling me that it is on them that Riot didn't give them notice of when the tournament is? Fuck off. Like,
that's the easiest part of the debate. But here's where I'm going to make a bold stance, and I wonder if either of you guys will argue with me here. Even like least charitable version of events, like hypothetical, like CNV are not, worst possible world would be CNV are not participating because some players don't want to go to LA or wherever they're going to go to practice.
Yeah.
And other players are, like, well, if we're not even going to try, I don't want to do it. Like, that's, least charitable interpretation. Let's say that's the reality. Like, I still think, weird decision on behalf of the boycotting players. Like, you've been playing online all year, just give it a go. But I still would not, like, if Stunt is just like, nah, dude, I don't want to get on a plane, I don't want to do that. I think that's, like, super within his rights. Like, why would you... I don't think you have, unless there's like a prior agreement, obviously, with all the players that like, yeah, if we make it, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Unless it's contracted by Conviction that, if we make it, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. If Stunt says, nah, man, I'm going to play from home, let's see how we do. I think he's so fine to do that. Like,
I don't actually
and if you don't like it, and a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people thought this was the case, didn't like it.
I thought it would be offline, to be honest with you. Like, I thought this was a offline tournament.
I thought it was offline.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And but like,
honestly,
I think a lot of people thought that was the case and were very frustrated with Stunt for like setting a poor example or whatever.
Because if your primary concern is like ping and fairness, dude, the person it's unfair to is Conviction. And if they're cool with having their support play on worse ping and, not be there and the environment isn't 100%. The vibes aren't 100% because I can speak from experience. Playing in person with your teammates is a lot better than playing online. So if they're willing to like kneecap themselves for convenience and Stunt is willing to just like handicap himself for the tournament, okay, other teams should be looking at that and being like, okay,
Yeah,
our
so like a
of winning,
lot of
just shut up.
bystanders are
Shut the fuck up if
like
you're
a lot of
complaining about
bystanders
that.
kind of
Why?
yeah, a lot of bystanders kind of pearl clutching about this, and it's like
It's funny how a lot of people got mad at the people actually impacted by it. Not
yeah, well, and
like the when it's the
I
other
can
way
understand their
around.
perspective, right? Their perspective is like, this is a sport, you should take this seriously, like what a joke you're making of our region, but like you're getting mad at the wrong thing. Like this is a downstream impact of
Dude,
the path to pro becoming narrow enough that
yeah,
guys who don't particularly want to go pro are winning the tournament. Like that's in a
if you
healthy
want our region to not be a
ecosystem.
joke,
You
if you want our region to not be a joke, look at tier 1 and look at internationals.
look
If you're
inward.
telling me that it like this is a thing, this is like just a fundamental disagreement that I have with a lot of the casuals that are looking at this drama from the outside in. Dude, it starts from the top down. It does not start from the bottom up. Like it is a thing where tier 1 doing well will cause tier 2 to do better and tier 3 to be better and vice versa, right? It is not the other way around. So people saying that Stunt refusing to travel for this tournament and that it makes a joke of our region, bro, our region has been a fucking joke for 6-7 years. And it is not like this changes anything. Even if he does attend, people are still going to call us a joke. So I really don't want to hear any fucking talk from people saying that this is some type of selfish decision that demeans the sanctity of competition here in North America, because it doesn't. If you want stuff to change, it has to start from the top up. And I feel like you cannot be looking at this as an example to point fingers at why the region is failing or why it's not taken seriously.
And not
I think
only
there's
that,
oh.
but yeah, just really quick to finish off, like the point being on Stunt, like a lot of people I think are seeing this for the like you said, this is tier 2 has been on a huge downward trend for a long time. Basically, the whole existence of this podcast, it's been covered in dizzying depth in previous
Yeah.
episodes. So you don't need me to recap it for you, but if a lot of people just they moonlight in NACL. They pop in here once or twice a year to give their opinions, and then they vanish again. And like they pop in this time, and they're again the subject of their perspective is Stunt. And like this player is doing wrong. This player needs to be punished, or this team aren't doing it right. They're disrespectful to the space. They need to face consequences. When in reality, like Stunt was a pro player 9 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
In his last season, he was a pro on 100 Thieves in the LTA and LCS at the time, and he left. He could have spent time milking Academy for probably a better wage at that time in Academy than he
frankly,
would make
that's
now.
what people were doing when it was still called Academy. Like, do you remember that TSM fan
and he
that had,
decided
like, Wild Turtle
at that
and
time,
shit? Like,
and he decided
yeah.
at that time that life wasn't for him. So you're not going to convince him now at age 29 to bail and
when
come
the scene
back.
is in a way
like
more
he's
different
not the one
space.
you need
Like,
to motivate.
yeah.
You need to motivate the next generation who will come in and be better than him, but they're the ones who are not participating because the path to pro is so narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
and there's also a problem that I have with one of the fundamental like ways that people think about the NACL. Maybe it's not so much in Europe. I'm not sure how much it affects their mindset in there, but I think that one of my biggest problems with the NACL is the fact that it's burst or mentioned or built around like the idea that it has to be a developmental league. And yes, the idea of having like the younger players come up and like nurture the upper levels and things like that, like recycling eventually, like getting to more newer players and things like that, it's important. But I feel like people are not realizing, and once again, this falls also into my multiple problems with how NA sports work compared to actual world sports. Because in world sports, usually tier 2 leagues or the second division leagues have a mix of both veteran players that are about to go out, players that not necessarily make it at the top, but that can continue a path there, or newer players. And I think that that's a problem that NACL has, that it's been framed so much and has been constructed so much as a developmental league, that the idea that a player that is already has a tenure up there, already has spent some time there, cannot go down there. And I think that that's a big mistake, because I don't think people should expect, or I don't think people should think that a player that cannot make it at tier 1 for 1 year or 2 years or whatever the fuck time they spend there, cannot just go down to tier 2 and destroyed there. That's actually part of the reason tier 2 exists, so that tier 1 talent is in tier 1 and tier 2 talent is in tier 2, because that's the division, the separation between the two of them is also that. And I think that there's a big misconception about it just being for younger players, because if you cannot beat also the tier 2 players that have come down, why would I expect you to be able to beat the tier 1 players as well?
Right, exactly.
It just adds to that as well.
I feel like the term gatekeeper is often used for the people that you're describing, TDS.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's totally accurate. I think that it hasn't really felt that linear though in recent years. For me, Darkwings is a good example of this, where it's Darkwings kind of came in and a lot of people were high on him with conviction, but most people were under the impression that Pobelter and Insanity were better mids. Right?
Yeah.
Insanity in particular, I think in spring is better than he was in summer. And Darkwings didn't really have an angle on him, and yet he's the guy in tier 1. So I think it's kind of interesting when people say oh, these are gatekeepers. If you can't beat these guys, then you don't belong at the top, because we've seen that time and time again. That doesn't always ring true. Right? You can still get to LTA even if you can't beat other top talents in the NACL. And not only do I feel like that, shines a little bit more light on talent in North America, but it also gets me a little bit more optimistic. Frankly, if we have a bunch of people vying for one spot and we have multiple different choices, that is good news to me. Disguise could have gone for 3 or 4 different mid laners for their mid team, and I do think it is cool that they went for Darkwings. But yeah, just kind of throwing it down that I feel like the idea of gatekeepers is not necessarily always true.
Yeah,
even
it's
though
not
it is
necessarily a bad
narrative,
thing.
right? No, it's not, but it's a narrative.
Yeah, no,
that
I
lot of
hate how
people
it's
talk
framed
about.
like a bad thing, right? I
Right,
just want to
yeah.
mention that. I hate that it's framed as a bad
And the
thing when
gatekeepers
it's
themselves
something
aren't talented
important.
or anything that, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's something that has to exist, and it's not a bad thing. It's just how you use them, or how they are used in the context of trying to provide for the entire ecosystem. And I think that that's where people just sees a player that quote unquote is washed, and it's coming down to tier 2. He destroys everyone, and then they say, "Oh no, tier 2 talent doesn't exist." Not necessarily. There's a lot of factors that do come in hand. He was just recently playing against better players. I'm pretty sure that he's going to have a much better time going against the tier 2 division until they catch up, because that's also a process that has to happen.
Right.
Yeah. I think you're kind of scratching at. We've talked about this for so long, but I do want to go a little bit deeper. I think you're scratching at an issue that has been circling in my head that I've never had the perfect tweet to reply to, and even if I did, it would be 9 posts long and nobody would read it. It feels like NACL and specifically the players need to be everything to everyone all the time, is the perspective that I see spouted very often, because it's yeah, you made NACL this open circuit, and promo tournament is 3 weekends long now, so anybody can throw together a team. You can be any rank. You can come in and you can qualify fair and square and come and play in this league, and you don't have a minimum salary requirement, and you don't need a real company backing you. You can all just come together and come and play. And everybody, and these are all talked about as positives. And then the second a team gets in that maybe doesn't have the exact goals that you think they should have, and they're demonized. So this needs to be the most open league in the world, but also everybody needs to be locked in, rock solid on one goal, which is professional esports all the time. And that's true apparently of the collegiate teams as well. And then it's these players, what is the ask for a model NACL player? You have to be absolutely fucking cracked. You have to be training all the
17
time.
years
You have to be
old.
better.
Yeah, don't forget, you got to be above 17, baby.
You got to be above 17, sure, but you have to be better than all the existing LTA players. The GMs of LTA want you to be better than all of their players and better than all of the Korean imports that they can imagine. In their head, that you're going to be shadowboxing again. You have to be a social butterfly, building your own following organically with streaming.
I feel like that point is a little bit less, has been a little bit less hammered home.
But to some people, that seems to be held out
right,
as
but it's like
something they critically need to do. You need to be doing this for zero pay, out of the intense passion in your heart. You have to be willing to compromise on any scheduling that Riot might throw at you. You need to be available to play on weekdays, which is when we're going to schedule. Like you need to be this this fungus that just sits there jamming League of Legends and cracking jokes on stream all day. And if you're anything short of that, then your failure's your fault. It's crazy. Like
it's a high bar. But
remember what happened with Shaden on that interview that everyone attacked him for being him.
Dude, I could never forget. But it's like I feel like branding has been significant. Like people, I feel like branding is kind of somewhat like to a certain degree fake for getting into the LTA. And like because you look at players like Surdy who have an insane brand, right? Like Surdy branded himself as this guy who is like rank 1 CeeLo winner, like literally completed League of Legends. Like if League of Legends was a game where you just complete quests, like he literally completed every quest. He got every single mini kit. Bro found every single goddamn what are the fucking stars called in Mario? Whatever. Bro
stars?
Collected every what?
Are they called stars?
Are they just called stars?
I think they're just called stars.
Collected every single fucking ring in Sonic. Like this guy literally beat the game. And then you take someone like Shaden, who's not only like similar in age, but also literally was on his team. Shaden didn't like do really anything for branding. Like he would stream sometimes, but he didn't do coaching. He wasn't super active on Twitter. Like the idea that branding is the big thing that will get you in, like it is the difference between your ability to be a pro player and not be a pro player, I think is a little bit fake, because we've seen players who have an amazing brand, literally stream, do everything right with their public image, and they will get in at just the same time as people who are just good at League of Legends, right? So that's like my one caveat to your statement. I feel like branding,
I agree. I think the emphasis is
people
fake.
talk
That's
about
my
its
point.
importance, but I would say it ranks really low on that totem pole. And I'm willing to debate that with anyone who disagrees, because I genuinely feel like it's, that's good.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. I just think it's crazy to me when I'm like 8 posts or 10 posts or 20 posts deep into a thread talking about like whether or not Stunt should ditch his brother's wedding to come in and play in this promotion tournament.
Dude,
and I'm seeing people talk about how like the players don't brand themselves well enough, and that's why the NACL isn't producing enough talent. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what can these players making no money do for you at this point?
I have
do
more
they have
respect
to juggle?
for Stunt. I have more respect for Stunt choosing to go to that wedding than I do for him deciding to play. Like, if he had done the opposite choice, I think probably would have been like,
I think I saw someone mention that APA was going to do that if he qualified for playoffs. Like I think I saw a tweet.
He was just at his brother's wedding.
But that's the thing. I think for APA, like it's stupid to compare those two cases because first and foremost, APA knew that when that was going to happen. Like he actually had a schedule ahead of him.
I'm saying this is APA's career. This is APA's career now.
That's like
he's
working for his job.
Yeah, like he's in the professional league, making a full-time living with a professional contract.
This is
Poor
kind
players
of like
have been missing things. Yeah.
For APA, it would have been like if he was in a business meeting in some other country. That's kind of
Yes.
the similarity that I make, because if he misses that, it could have impact his future career, right? Or his future like way of playing. For stunt, it's really meaningless in comparison. And also, and I really make it a big point because I think that it's really stupid that people are not making like be as valuable as it is. Changing the schedule mid split makes absolutely no sense. If you know things ahead of time, you can schedule around them. APA didn't have an excuse because he knew what was happening. If he gets eliminated, that's fine, you can go. If not, you have to attend because you know when it's happening. But stunt, you cannot just get in like into the weekend of the wedding 2 nights before. No, we have to go to LA to go play the promotion tournament. I'm already at my brother's wedding. What the fuck do you want me to do? Of course not. That's not going to
Well,
work
and
out. That's not how real life works.
well, it's not even about the scheduling for me either, because I mean, whatever. People aren't going to move their weddings for you, or that, even if you are
Yeah.
very close to them. But like, people will miss these kinds of events when they are on the path of like a professional player. You know, the fucking NFL players never go to a Thanksgiving or a Christmas their entire careers because of how the scheduling for that kind of stuff works.
Yeah, exactly.
People miss funerals, they miss weddings, they miss major life events. That stuff happens. But like, it's one thing to make that sacrifice when you are already a pro. It is another thing to make that sacrifice when you're making peanuts in tier 2. And if you opt to not do it, that's I don't know. I can't hold that against them. I really can't.
Yeah, no,
I think I would hold them more against them if they.
I don't
did
have much
it
else to say.
against
Like
that,
honestly,
Yeah,
like
I think we've beaten
I'm
it to
fully
death
on Stunt's
successfully.
side,
Well
and
done,
I'm
everybody.
fully annoyed with Riot.
We've done it.
So,
We've
yeah.
beaten it to death. All right.
I won't say I'm annoyed at Riot just because I don't want to close any doors or windows, but like, yeah.
I mean, you could be annoyed with someone. That doesn't mean you don't like them. Like sometimes I get annoyed.
Sure, no, I
with
love
Gordo
Riot
and
games.
sometimes I get annoyed
Obviously, I
with Gordo
love
and
Riot
Flex
games.
Q, but that doesn't mean I don't like the guy because he won't rotate and help me with my crab.
Never
You're a
help
jungle
you with
main,
that
dude.
goddamn
That's their
crab,
problem.
Quax. But all right, let's do a quick talk about the promotion tournament, the LTA promotion tournament. We'll talk about first. Assuming Conviction plays, how do you think they'll do against Estral Esports? That's the Summit, Solid, Cody,
I've
Ghost,
heard
Winsome team.
Estral. I've heard rumors about Estral Esports' scrim record. And apparently these guys actually suck. Like,
I also hear that they suck.
I agree.
like
I knew
like,
this,
dude.
since
That would be
before.
so fucking funny. By the way, imagine you have Viper, former top lane pro player in LTA, first split year in the ADC role. He busts out the Riven, game 5, ready to win it all. Ghost, former world champion, doesn't know what to do, loses, dies. It would straight up be the funniest shit ever if Ghost, a former world champion on one of the best teams to ever exist in League of Legends, got fucking eliminated by Viper. That would be so funny.
There's a pretty good possibility it'll happen. I don't think it's going to happen, but there's a really good possibility about it.
Yeah. Worth pointing out that is a single elim play-in match.
Yep.
Loser that is just right out of the tournament.
Yeah, great way of doing that as well, by the way. Clearly
yeah,
not
I mean, whatever. I don't think they
even,
to be honest, I don't think they even needed to send the top 2 of each region, so I'm fine with it.
I actually think they should send the top 2 of each region. Like, I think the formatting of sending top 2 is good because I think that there's situations where there's matchups that could stylistically benefit you more. So let's say, for example, it was Dark Zero and Luminosity instead. I think Dark Zero is really bad against Luminosity, but I think Dark Zero could be the other 2 teams. And Luminosity could actually lose to, I think, like, people undervalue it, but I think the team from the Tigers team, I forget their name, but it's the Tigers team. The LTN Tigres or LTN Tigers, not really sure what it was.
SDM
they
Tigres.
are the
SDM Tigres. I think their team is actually good. Like, I actually have seen them play, and they pretty much managed Astral like
we're probably gonna
really easily. So I think this team is actually capable of fighting against Luminosity. I don't think they win, but I think they are able to fight it out really well against them.
I think we're gonna probably do a bigger episode on the LTA promotion, like a more in-depth look, because we'll probably have someone familiar with the LRN teams.
Well, we get time as well because it's like in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I
right.
think we'll have time.
I think we should. Now I will say, I think all of this is really cool. Like imagining how the LRN teams versus the NACL teams, I would say that I think both Luminosity and Conviction can actually beat Estral. Don't know enough about SDM Tigris to really talk about them. Disguise should win this though. Like
Yeah, I
DSG
agree.
actually looked quite good before they got eliminated. Like I was pretty impressed that they managed to push C9 to 5 games. Now, admittedly, C9 kind of dookie toward the latter last few weeks, but
C9 is
it's
clearly better than all of these teams, and I think the
right.
fact that
Yes,
they are
yes,
able
yes,
to
yes.
fight it out gives them a lot of credit. I
If
also
if,
think,
if
just quickly,
DSG are able to take it that far, if DSG are able to take C9 to 5, they should have no problem winning this thing. That's my
yeah, just like quickly, if we probably revisit this, but just quickly, I think they also have the best bot lane like by a distance in the
Virus and
LT.
Ichi win.
Yeah, no, Disguised. Rahel
Oh,
and
yeah,
Huki.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they have the best bot lane by quite a bit of distance. The only one that it's close to them, and it's not a bot lane, it's a player. It's Sazel, which I think that he's not like Sazel is the only player to me that it's as close to being to his counter to the counterpart in LTA as any other. Well, actually, no, Insanity is better probably than Darkwings, but I think Darkwings has learned really good. But in terms of bot lane, Rahel is better than all already carries, like 100%. I don't see much contest there.
I think that's fair. All right, let's talk about the results of the NACL promotion tournament. Welcome back, Apex Mission Impossible and CCG. So no brand new faces this time around. But a great run from AMI, and it does introduce some rookies, right, in Protoss and RetroZing joining up with AMI. CCG run that tournament handedly. I think they proved that that multi-way tie probably did not accurately relegate the worst team in the league.
The word that we live in, where one FF affected so much of the timeline.
9-game regular season, baby. So CCG slammed through the tournament, no problem. They'll be back next year. And AMI requalify. So they certainly, and it looks much less fluky than the first time they qualified, where it had to be a 5-game best of 5 against dog fans of all teams.
Yep.
So I'm very happy for this AMI squad. I think it was a great win for. I talked about this on broadcast a lot. I think it's a great win for Pocus, especially moving over to coach, talking about building up this new team and bringing in players that were undervalued. I think he makes really good on all those promises with how well they're able to perform and the fact that they're able to get in there with 2 players who had like never made a promo tournament before. They look dominant while doing it. I think it was a really good showing from them.
Yeah, it's a good show up on both sides. I think this promotion tournament actually was interesting because, first of all, obviously the situation with Vancouver Impact a little bit at the start was kind of unlucky with all that it was happening with Satsi.
Yeah.
They were able to fix it, if I'm not wrong, until a point. So I don't think Vancouver was going to win, by the way. Like, I don't think their team should have qualified, even if everything was working out. But obviously there's always the caveat of maybe they don't go out that quickly or something similar to that. That's things that I try to think about a little bit also in consideration. And I think AMI is a just qualifying team. I think they played out really, really well. I was really, really surprised with how well RetroSync played out so many of the games and how much of an impact he has on how they AMI play the games. Because Lojaz obviously was the one running a lot of the show with how he was moving around the map, but I think RetroSync enabled so much of it as well. And I'm kind of like happy
I
seeing
was
how
pretty
RetroSync played.
with RetroZing. I feel like other than that, though, I really don't have a ton to say about this promotion tournament. Like, I felt like the OQs were really fun. I'm a little bit sad that Zenshi didn't get in because I felt like they brought a lot of uniqueness to the tournament. But NXI, my friend, that Kazakhs game. I think we're gonna have to have like a Whiplash Neiman dynamic here. Talk about that performance because
conversely, though, I think we should re-up on our bio juice. I think I think
on
what a great
Cupid's
run.
players, I feel Cupid played really nicely in general with the run. Some falling a little bit shorter than the others, but I do think Bio particularly certainly is jumping, like, to me at the very least, making the jump to really make an argument to be 100% on the NACL next year. Like, I think he at the very least should be if not considered, should be looked at by middle of the pack but to below teams, because I think he played really, really well this tournament. I could argue I think actually he was the second best jungler after Music, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think it was a really, really good showing from Bio. That game 2 Pantheon game against NXI. Granted, NXI is playing Rammus, but whose fault is that?
Bro,
Absolute
I will
master.
never understand. Okay, I genuinely need to know. So listen, I know he's better against like multiple AD champions, but for the purpose of what you want to do with Rammus, which is have like early pressure, be like a dive bomb engager that can survive just about anything, is it not just better to go Zach? I feel like Zach is just the better version of Rammus, like most of the time for what you want to accomplish in competitive. I don't know. That's just my thing. But
Maybe the argument is that you don't play enough against Rammus, that you don't know what is going to happen, and that's
Trying
why
to
you play
inspire
it.
it.
Well, I mean, but I mean, based off of that game, it feels like
Well,
it's a
that
case of
works
like
out if you
they
know
can't
what
know
you're
what you're
doing as
doing if
well.
you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, like I think you do need to know what you're doing with the Rammus, though. So probably that's the mistake.
I mean, maybe, but still, I felt like Zenshi could have won that. Their drafts in that series were really not that great, but I'm bummed they didn't make it overall. Like I felt like they had like a lot of unique picks and like a lot of unique stuff that they could have shown if they were in the NACL. I think every team though competed. Like we saw bright spots for basically every team that participated. I always feel like with most promotion tournaments, there's the one team that's extremely favored, right? Like in this case, it was CCG. Then there's just the one team that everyone is like they get a participation award. Like these guys aren't going to bring a single game. I didn't feel like any of the teams were necessarily that. Obviously,
No,
there
I
were
think it was
teams that were better
it
than
was a pretty
others,
close field outside of.
but it was actually pretty. Yeah, it was a pretty close field, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
What I will say though is it was a lot less top heavy this time around. Like I feel like if we're looking at how much better AMI are than like Vancouver Impact, I feel like it's not the most significant jump in the world. I would say AMI are better, but I'm not going to be like, oh, these guys would win like 20 out of 20 games against them or something like that, right? Like it's not that big of a leap. So
Yeah.
I don't really know what we're going to expect for 2026 because I feel like a lot of rumors are flying around about what tier 2 is going to become next year, but I feel excited. That's all I can really say at this point.
I would add Mr. D Calc to the bio list for Cupid players that really impressed me over their couple of days. I think he had a really good series against Zenshi, Barrick, the kind of player that I kind of baseline expect to sort of run Calculus, right? Like I think my characterization coming into the promo tournament was that Dr. Calculus was a player who was very intelligent about his lane swaps and lane assignments, and that covered some weaknesses in lane. Thinking back to his time on Ducky Getters, as well as the more successful moments from Slated 6 and Pulse. But he has to play mano a mano against Barrick in that Zenshi series, and I think he does quite a good job of it. I think he has a really good Aatrox game. I think his Rek'Sai looks really good. He has a tremendous Cho'Gath game that wins him a very undeserved MVP that should have gone to Bio. And all in all, I think great showing from those guys. Zenshi still, though, big standout there. I think Cupid and Galabi have secured themselves careers in tier 3 promotion to tier 2 land
in 2.5
if they want it, right? Assuming they want it, right? They as is the rider that has to be given for anybody trying to go pro right now due to see the first 40 minutes of this show. But if they want to keep grinding for it, I think they will certainly be on people's radars as, if you're trying to fill your carry roles and you want to make NACL and you have a blank spot in your roster, these are names you can look at and rely upon.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you on those two. I will say, though, without a doubt,
I just think Barrick, NXI, and Kim Down were already in that category, by the way. I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be. I think they were already there. I think Cupid and Glavi were big question marks, and now they can be.
Yeah, they get out into the mix.
I think the biggest individual performance, though, of the entire tournament was Crimson. I think
Big run
if
for
we're
him.
talking about like the MVP of the entire promotion tournament, it's probably the top laner of CCG. And I made a tweet about this like after they promoted, saying that sometimes when you're like a legacy player for an organization, right? When most of your career has been with one org, it's kind of hard for people watching not to associate the number you get at the end of the year and placement with your performance, right? Like if the team does
and
good,
all of these
players, you're doing really well. If the team does really bad, you're doing bad. Even though I've kind of said that Crimson, like in the past, I've said that I feel Crimson's improvement has been extremely quiet. He's improving nonetheless. Like I feel like in summer, we didn't really talk about him at all. Like this year, I think we were pretty quiet on CCG in general.
CCG in general was quiet, so
yeah, right. Except for the time we had Dardoch on. But like generally, I would say like Crimson has managed to improve throughout most of the splits since CCG promoted. So I think they really lucked out by picking him up, and I'm especially excited to see what he's capable of from here on out because he will be on Maraville in Sealol. So he'll be under the tutelage of Mr. Niles himself. And if there's one thing we know about Maraville, they know how to develop some really fucking bomb-ass top laners.
Yeah, happy for him to find that landing spot. And Maraville continues to stay winning, by the way. If you're like another CLL program, it has got to be so frustrating in a scene with like the kind of low volume of talent
just keep getting
that we
away
have,
with it.
that Maraville can get every good freaking player, dude. Every player.
You know what they are? They are the TSM of old, where TSM were just winning everything, and then if you wanted a player, did you go to, if you're TSM, you say I want him.
If you want a player, you ask, not even nicely. You just ask.
Yeah, exactly. That's Maraville now. Like Maraville just says, "Gimme." And they come.
It's like I want pick any player in tier 2 anytime, moment's notice. I want that player, and you got it.
I'm just waiting to see what will happen with.
It's not literally that, but it feels like that.
Reaches the LTA. Like I'm really just waiting to see if Maraville reaches the LTA. Like what will happen? Because like I think that they just look like such an enticing place for so many things and so many players.
Yeah.
Maybe even just a Korean prospect. Like let's imagine a future where a Korean top player just wants to continue his education, and then Maraville just scoops in with a full paid tuition and an LTA spot.
Yeah. All right. It's the 23rd at the time of recording. We can talk really quick about the lower quarters for ACL. Got our first best of 5s in. Papa's Chonks, after winning a 3-2 against Citadel. First of all, I'll explain what happened with the schedule here. Papa's Chonks win a 3-2 over Citadel. CCG and Lotus could not play their match as scheduled on Monday, so they, after some negotiations...
Played earlier today.
What's up?
Played earlier today. I was finishing your sentence.
Yes, after some negotiations with the victorious Papa's Chonks, they work out an agreement where they play today, and then Papa's Chonks will play the winner tomorrow, the 24th. The way the schedule was originally set up was that lower semis were meant to be played today, but obviously you don't want to give Papa's Chonks only like a couple hours of turnaround time. So they will play tomorrow. That will be streamed on Aegis, I believe. I won't be there, but we will try to put together a broadcast, I believe.
Oh, that'll be streamed on Aegis?
We said it would be streamed on Aegis when we talked with Ivar last night. I bet if you want to stream it on Aegis, I'm sure you can.
So wait, this is
tomorrow.
You said the reschedule was tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 7 Eastern.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If
I'll ping people in the ACL chat after we're done here, and if we want to try to put a broadcast together, we probably can. Anyway, back to the actual series. Papa's Chonks versus Citadel was a banger. NovaBot came in for 2 games, but that's not even... I'm not even going to blame the series on that for Citadel. They go 1-1 with him in, and he solo kills Denethor Camille on the Ornn. So props to NovaBot, baby. Texas himself coming in onto the roster and putting Denethor in his place. I fucking can't believe that happened.
That was such a hilarious solo kill, by the way. Like the timing of how it fell, because it was
Yeah.
also a point of the game where Papa's Chunks were just winning everything, and then out of nowhere you see Nova killing the Camille. And like you're thinking, what? Why
Yeah,
did
I
that
mean,
happen? But
statement series from
good.
Bradley too. I mean, he is 1v9 for the games that they win. Feels like the rest of Citadel
He's
world.
1v9, bro.
What?
He's 1v9. I love it.
He
That's
is
fucking great.
1v9,
Yeah,
man. I'm
it
not gonna
was.
No, he
lie, dude.
was. I agree with you. I
The
just think
rest
it's
of
fucking
Citadel
hilarious.
looked checked the fuck
Yeah.
out, dude. I'm sorry, Kenvi, but
Oh,
he
Kembe
did
had
not show up to play.
like Kempe's series was really difficult to see. That like obviously I didn't cast the remaining 3 games, but I did watch them because like I at the very least I'm able to work remote, so I can actually see things and mute, but I can see them. And like Kempe's series was so disappointing into so many levels. Like the buy game by itself, he missed so many face crushers so frequently to targets that were just stationary. It was surprising to see, and the Sejuani game wasn't really good either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I mean that the junglers literally just took turns in that series, going from like pop off moment to just
Yep.
absolute fucking grief nation. It was so fucking funny. Like
So it's funny because I think, sorry to go off Quax. I think
you're good.
that for what the junglers missed, the mid laners made up for in a really funny manner.
mm, yeah, sick game from Wakao. A couple of games from Wakao as well. Mr. Wilson, Trickster, whatever you want to call him, really shows up for the back half of the series. Goes 0-12 on Xinjiao in the game 3 loss to go down 2-1 in the series, and then just turns it on a tremendous Kindred game, 13-1-5 on that one. Just completely puts Citadel in the dumpster. And he has a pretty nifty Pantheon game as well to close things out. I think Mobility and Denethor end up being the star of that last game a little bit more, but
Yeah, no,
I think
mobility with a really good Zeri game in that game 5 for sure. That was
yes.
insane.
But once he decided to stop taking turns inting with Kenvi, Wilson looked pretty damn good.
I think it's been really cool to see Wilson over the past year. Like, if
Yeah.
there was a player that we historically, the Salt Mine, have kind of bad mouthed from
He was
time
my
to
most
time.
improved in summer, right?
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
fine.
Yes, I think it was.
I'm fine. I'll pick on TDS and I. If there was
No.
one
I
player
mean,
that
I agree. I've hated this guy historically. I've talked
No,
so much
yeah,
shit
like
about
I'll
Wilson.
keep that marked. Like I've
Are-
always been attacking Winthrop. Like I'm pretty
I'm-
sure I'm number 1 Winthrop hater at this point.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, dude, I'm like number 1.1. Like I feel like Winthrop has been the butt of a lot of jokes here. So believe us or believe me when I say Wilson has, I think, looked really good for the past like 6 months. Like I feel like
Yeah.
since spring and
me
like
get
them
my
going up
cast
against Near
notes.
Airport, like obviously a lot of people think Denethor is like the second coming of Jesus because of how he played against Near Airport, but dude, Wilson was playing pretty fucking good too. So I have been really impressed with his ability to be a little bit more flexible in draft throughout this series, because I think the biggest issue I've always had with him was just the fact that he played bruisers. He didn't play them particularly insane, and he didn't have a ton of like pocket picks that he could pull out. Now
And
I
now
feel
he
though
does.
he's doing, yeah. I feel like he's definitely turned a new leaf. So I'm actually really impressed with his growth. I actually commend him and salute him a lot, because I do think it has been really fun to see, and I think that it has given Winthrop an extra element throughout the year that they've been able to use, particularly like in summer they did a few times.
Yeah, like the Kindred is the latest in what has been a consistent like upward line of Wilson just like busting out carry picks and having really good performances, right? He has that massive pop off Kindred game yesterday against, and these are all against good competition too. That one's against Citadel and Kenvi. He busts out the Rengar against Gravity. That one is a loss. That one, maybe could have been a little bit better. We're gonna set that aside for now. He busts out the Silas against AMI and Low Jazz in a nice win. Has a good Silas game there. He busts out the Kiana against Cupid and Bio. That was on stream. I remember that game. He was like, again, that was a 1v9 game from him. And he busts out the Viego against Whole Milk. That is also in a loss, but he had a sub 80 carry at that time, so I give him the pass. That was with Never Die.
Who was already carry?
Never Die. I don't know who this is.
Okay,
As far as
fair
I can
enough,
tell,
because he did
Deep
have
Wall does
one
not
today as
link
well,
him to
no?
anybody, so I think it's his own guy.
I will say though, like one of the things that with Wilson's improvement and the fact that Winthrop would probably keep mobility only 35 and Denethor, which it is an assumption, but I'm probably thinking they will. I still think that if they just get a better mid laner than Sword, nothing against Sword particularly, but like I feel like if they just get someone better than Sword in mid lane, Winthrop could actually be a team that I can look at and say, okay, they have the chance to actually pull something off. So hopefully they can see what they want in there and maybe find something else to add onto their team.
Yeah. I don't have a lot
Yeah.
to say, honestly.
I think that's
like,
about it.
Just
I mean, it was
I'm
we're
impressed
just waiting
with
for the rest of
basically
the ACL.
we really are. Like, we have how many matches left? We have
3?
one,
Four.
two,
Four
three,
matches.
Four, one more,
matches
yeah.
left. We're getting down there, boys.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
4 more matches, and I think I'm going to miss 3 of them. I think I am out of
With the-
ACL
oh,
until
fuck.
grand finals, baby.
Yo, TDS, we
When's
double
finals
coloring.
on Tuesday?
We double coloring, big dog.
Hey, they had a Gordo coloring for in the NACL. We can have double color PvP
True,
here.
true. God damn, TDS.
How does it feel to
fuck.
have me color on NACL before either of you guys, gentlemen?
I actually did.
Wait,
I
didn't
actually-
Quax
you know what?
already?
No
I'm the
fucking
only one
comment,
that
no
I'm
fucking
missing.
Comment, no
Quax did on
fucking comment,
NACL
no
too.
fucking comment.
Hey, I'll take that. He's closer than me. I haven't been on ACL yet. I need
Yeah.
to be able to show up one day.
I was a little bit sad not being on NACL. I'm just gonna put that out there. But
Fine.
still,
We'll get there.
you and Henrique did a pretty good job, Gordo.
I think
Yeah, no, it
Um,
was a fun cast. It was
it
a
was
fun
fun.
cast.
I think
Yeah.
it's vibes.
Overall, though, I feel like we're far enough in, right? And obviously, this is going to be done in a week, so it's as of recording this. So I feel like we should get some predictions going.
Yeah,
for
let's
the
make
last few
calls on who we
matches.
think's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we probably
right.
are going to eliminate, right? So like for this, we're going to have someone already eliminated by today or for tomorrow's match. Actually.
Right,
Tomorrow's match,
right.
but I'm gonna try to publish this before the match gets played. So
Good luck.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So Papas and CCG. Who's winning? What's the series score? Hit me.
I think I'm taking CCG there. I think I take CCG 3. I think CCG 3-1 is where I look at it.
you know what? I think I'm gonna take Papa's Chonks 3-2. I think Citadel has blackpilled me. I think Supernova and CCG are done. I think they're ready for the off season, or at least they want to play on like a different experimental team for ACL fall. I think the Winthrop run is coming. I'm gonna take Papa's Chonks 3-2.
I would probably. I love how I'm gonna say this right after I was just crediting and glazing Winthrop's ability to improve over the year, but I feel like
This isn't
CCG
Winthrop,
are
though.
probably gonna. I feel like CCG are probably gonna 3-0. If I'm being honest with you, like I'm gonna
I can
be.
see it.
I feel like a dick saying that, but genuinely, I feel like CCG have looked really good over the past couple of weeks. Like the promotion tournament, they looked like not necessarily
That's
like a
true.
new team, but like they improved a lot since we saw them in NACL. So I have to give them credit for that.
To be honest, they shouldn't have been a promote tournament team, like in reality. But like,
no.
I also
It's
like that they are
hydrogen
here
fucking
because I
bomb.
didn't want Blue Water to be there. So like, that's what you'd get, I guess. But like, yeah, CCG just has looked much better recently. I think they probably lose one game off of an ego of ego from the players because we need to remember this team has Shogo and Young. So like, it happens. But like, I give them 1 of game and then 3.
I mean, that's fair. That's actually pretty fair. All right. Milk Esports Whole Milk versus Supernova. Now, this is funny because, I mean, does Whole Milk have Kisno again? Or is this just
I
Drexer?
think they will have Draxer going forward, but I don't know.
Is Supernova playing
okay,
their actual roster? That's where I want to start as well.
Yes, they
I
are.
think so.
Okay,
Yes.
so if it's normal roster Supernova
I
with
think we assume
absolutely
everybody
no
is running
like.
their normal rosters. The exception
Okay,
being
fair
that I
enough.
think Papa's Chunks will be running mobility from here on
Mobility.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they are
Okay.
losing bans for each series.
Unless they can get some nice little
Unless they,
waivers as compensation
yeah.
for reschedules.
Unless they
They
can
did
Okay,
yesterday.
fair enough.
Mooch up to Ivar. Okay, Milk, whole Milk versus Supernova. If the rosters are starters, right, and we aren't getting any Kisno bombs or something like that, I would say this is probably a Supernova 3-1.
I would say Supernova 3-0, dude. Dardoch is not dropping a game to Drax or Jungle, bro. It can't be done. It can't be done.
I'm also on Supernova 3-0. Like
Yeah.
I like Whole Milk. It's a fun roster
I
to
do
check,
too.
but like
I really respect the
like
organization.
I think Dardoch and Hoarder should be better than their counterparts because we need to remember Whole Milk has Minui playing off lane.
Yeah.
All right,
No,
let's lock in. We have our brackets differ from here, so let's just lock in who we think is going to win for each of us. Who's taking grand finals next Tuesday?
All right. So if it's Supernova, I would say the grand finals is probably Supernova versus CCG.
I think for one.
I'm gonna say CCG 3-1 Supernova.
I think
I hate that.
I think it's 2023 fall all over again, baby. I'm gonna take Papa's Chunks. This is my bold take. I think the NACL teams don't give a fuck anymore. I think they're done. I think it's
Papa's
postseason
Chunks
time.
is technically an NACL team.
I think they're already on vacation. Yeah, but no, because Winthrop is heating up for CLOL. All right, and
Wait, what about my boy Shoko? He is also
he is also heating up for CLOL. Yes, but these aren't his boys.
It's true.
I don't know. I just have a feeling. I'm going Papa's Chunks to regain their former glory and get another ACL title.
I'm going CCG as well, but I think CCG 3-2 Supernova.
Oh
That's where I'm
wow!
at.
I would love nothing more for
No
to go 5
Supernova
games.
picks is crazy. I would say they're the favorite.
I mean, I feel like we're talking about like checked out and
True.
Yeah, like that's my thing. I feel like Supernova, we need to remember Supernova is the team that hasn't played for the longest time out of the three. I would think because for Papa's Chunks they played where they are Winthrop, so technically they have played a little bit of collegiate at this point. CCG played promotion tournament, and then Supernova they haven't played anything. They've been just out of it for a while now.
yeah.
I
I would actually really like for CCG to win. I feel like if they manage to demolish the promo tournament and then they win ACL summer, and then obviously fall still exists. Who knows what's going to happen there? But if they come back and then they have a respectable showing, then I'll be pretty high on this team for 2026 as a team that almost got fucking relegated. I'll be pretty high on a relegation team.
Would they be, if CCG wins, would they be the first roster to repeat or the first org to repeat? Actually,
they'd be the
do we
first
consider
org to
CCG Glorp
repeat,
like
and
CCG?
they would be the first org to repeat. Like, I mean, they would be back to back, but they would get a second title. They would be the first org to get a second title, and Crimson would become the second player to win 2 ACLs.
Who's the first? I actually don't remember.
Sudsy.
Oh,
Sudsy did it with Team Fish Taco and with Mirage.
And Mirage. Yeah, now I remember.
Yep. So he's holding on to his title. He's gripping that thing for dear life, hoping for a Supernova win. I think a Supernova win would keep him the only one.
Well, a Papa's Chunks win also works out.
No, Papa's Chunks win would make Denethor and Wilson
and mobility as well.
2-time champs.
Wait, and from Whole Milk, is there anyone repeating? Levitate? No. Cryogen, I don't... Oh, Cryogen maybe?
No, Cryogen's never won. Yeah, I think Whole Milk...
And I don't think Flymini, actually.
Flymini never won. Flymini was a finalist. But Aojun won.
Oh, yeah, no, Flymini is not. Yeah, actually.
Has anybody else on Whole Milk done it? Who's on fucking Whole Milk
because
again?
It's Cryogen,
not Cryogen.
Levitate.
I don't think Levitate ever won. Let me see.
I'm
Hang on.
pretty
You know,
sure
what? I don't know
Yoshi
why I'm
did,
like trying to guess off the top of my head when I keep
I'm
a
pretty
whole
sure
document.
Draxler did not at all.
Draxler definitely hasn't.
And Minui,
Levitate won with Team Fish Taco. Levitate would be a
oh, so they
back-to-back.
were with TFT as well. Okay, so so it's only Supernova. Wait, but isn't Dardock also?
Dardock's never won. I don't think Dardock's ever even played.
With
before.
Mirage, no?
Oh, he did win with Mirage. You're right.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
so-
cooked.
yes,
Sudsy's title is
It's good,
cooked.
yeah.
You know, I'm being awfully quiet here because I was not a part of this. I did not exist. I fucking was in the womb.
Oh, Sudsy, your title is
Yeah,
gone,
sorry,
brother.
Sudsy.
It's gone. You needed a root for Citadel. No, Citadel, of course. Citadel would have been a 5-team repeat. You needed a root for
And-
Lotus.
Lotus? No, because Lotus also had a Porsche.
Porsche was a sub. Porsche's
But he won it. I
Porsche
give
was
it
a
to
sub
him.
on
He
Citadel.
was
I would
part
give
of
it
it.
to him.
He
I would
won.
let Sudsy have it. All right. Oh
But
well.
he's
Well,
doomed
that's
now.
a shame. Sudsy, your record is going to be cooked. The only question is by who. We'll find out. Stay tuned to the ACL.
Yeah.
I'm excited to be back on Tuesday. I am traveling for the LTA finals, so I will be away
If
from
you
ACL
see him, say hi.
for that time. Yeah, if you see me, say hi. I'm gonna try to swing by the Blue Otter booth for sure. Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be around Allen, Texas for a bit. So hope to see you all there. Feel free to swing by and say hello.
I will not be there.
Yeah.
Just
No,
let-
you-
Me neither. I'm way too far away from it.
I'm the only Salt Mine rep there, and I don't have merch, so you're gonna have to just settle for saying hello.
what if we did get really big? Like we got like extremely big and we just started doing merch. That would be fun as fuck.
Yeah,
we could
they-
just
Well,
sell
we already
like the
have a
hat.
logo.
$5.
Yeah, we
a
already have a
year.
logo,
not?
so technically speaking, like
Yeah.
there's already things there.
There is.
Yeah.
We have branding. Shout out to Nyarko for that. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's an hour 15. That's a show. Thank you all for sitting on down with us. It's been a party, and we will see everybody for the rest of the ACL and for ACL finals coming up on Tuesday, as well as the lower finals the day before, and potential streams coming on up tomorrow and this weekend. Until then, take it easy, and we'll see you all next time.